Greetings, whiskey folk. Welcome back to Drinking Out Loud. My name's Adam Bradshaw, and I am here to tell you all about the western shore of the kitchen sink. This is Scotch Malt Whisky Society 93.200 from the SMWS Canada September 2023 Outturn. Almost at October. I'm a month ahead of myself here. Alright, it's been a little while since I've managed to put together a video for the Outturns. Sorry about that, it's been a very busy summer. We've been putting together some plans that are coming into fruition later this month. But yeah, special shout-outs today, of course, to Evan over at Kensington Wine Market, who chose the order of the whiskies for this month's Outturn tastings, and it was an absolute roller coaster ride. I haven't talked to Evan about it, so I don't know if this was his game plan or not, but it felt like he was trying to highlight the contrasts and the differences between whiskies rather than like a soft gradient. It was more peaks and troughs, and that was exciting, actually. It's not something that you see very often in a lineup from whiskies. It was really, really neat. I really enjoyed it, and it worked. It worked really well. So thank you, Evan, for that. And I'm going to be following that same order in my recording here today. But for the first time, I'm going to be putting them all into little chunk videos so that you don't have to watch the entire thing if you don't have to. I know that the YouTube algorithm likes me to have shorter videos and more of them. So I don't care about the YouTube algorithm, but it is easier to shoot. So that's good with me too. All right, so our first whiskey of the Outturn is the Western Shore of the Kitchen Sink, and here are the official SMWS tasting notes. A familiar impression of swimming pools, distant shorelines, bandages, and washed linens drying by the sea. Classic and typical of this lovely make. We also noted pink sea salt and a tang of citrus marmalades. Reduction brought a richer, more savoury profile that included miso butter, anchovy paste, sandalwood, and dried seaweed crackers, with a little heat of mustard powder in the background. The palate opened with mechanical oils, tangy pink grapefruit, and coastal notes of seawater, plus some medicinal bandages. We also noted fruity shisha smoke, fir wood resins, dried tarragon, and salty Dutch licorice. With water came fermented pineapple, preserved lemons, wine gums, more bandages, chalk and mineral oils. A general impression of delicious seashore dross. All right. Lovely. So this is all about the gathering this month at SMWS. The gathering started off, of course, and is back, thankfully, as a literal gathering of people from all over the world, SMWS members from all over the world gathering at Edinburgh. And during COVID, of course, when that couldn't happen, evolved to be more of a spiritual gathering, in a sense, in literal spirit sense, where different chapters of the SMWS around the world got their own special bottlings, and it's all very fun. So that is the theme of the month, and this is a really, really interesting whiskey to start off with, especially. It has one of those things which I often refer to as a peat shadow, like a lot of flavours that usually come with peated whiskey, but without the smoke at all. It was really interesting. Let's see if I get that again this time. So as you might have guessed at the time of recording, I've already presented this whiskey twice at the Outturn preview tastings. This is going to be my third time trying these whiskies. So yeah, I already have a bit of an impression, but that's actually over a week ago now. So let's see if that impression has stayed. Interesting. So one of the things I noted, especially in the second tasting, is that after trying 4 or 5 whiskies, once my palate had really sort of woken up and been messed around with a little bit, again, very playful up and down kind of a tasting, this was sweeter. But off the bat today, on the nose, it already feels a touch sweeter, so I'm wondering if a little bit of extra oxidization in the bottle has maybe helped with that. Not sure. But yeah, it definitely smells a little sweeter than it did last week. It's got a sort of a mandarin orange oil kind of thing going on it now. Sweetened orange oils. Almost like when you're using orange oil as like a flavoring in a candy or a drink or something. Not quite like an orange fudge kind of a thing, but that kind of maybe like a stick of rock, like I don't know if there's a North American equivalent to a stick of rock. a stick of candy that is flavoured, and you often get at seaside resorts in the UK, and I'm not entirely sure why. All right, so the particulars of this bottle. It is Distillery 93, which is a Campbellton. It's a first fill ex-bourbon barrel, which we like to see in something around this age, because this is a 9-year-old. It is from 2013, the 1st of October, and an outturn of 207 bottles, ABV 61.1. And it is, of course, available to purchase. I should probably mention that. Hi, I'm Adam, I sell whiskey. We have this available right now at stratliquor.com/SMWS, where you'll see all of the most recent outturn and other bottlings from past outturns as well. And if you don't see this one there, it might be sold out here in Victoria. But don't worry, we're one of 5 SMWS retailers here in Canada, and luckily for me, they're all listed on the back of this book. In case I'd forgotten, I'm gonna see if I can do it without looking. The newest one first, Arc, over in Kelowna. Hey Arc, good to see you guys. Kensington Wine Market, of course, over in Calgary, Keg and Cork in Edmonton, and Legacy in Vancouver. How did I do? 4 out of 4. Well, 5 out of 5, the Strath too. All right. What's the price on this? 204.26. I'm reading it like it's an SMWS code. 0.26 is a weird way of saying and 26 cents, but $204.26. It's tangy, it's zesty, and it's oily. It's got a nuttiness to it today as well that I don't really remember, but it's kind of like a walnut oil kind of a thing going on. Yeah, this one, like I said, it's got a lot of the flavours you often get with peat, but without the peat, it's got that sort of meaty, seaweedy, almost iodine kind of a flavour, but again, without the smoke, which is kind of weird. It's the kind of flavours that you'd get in like a 34-year-old Lafroig. But for a fraction of the price of a 34-year-old Lafroig. Campbellton, of course, a very big buzzword in the whiskey community right now. Everyone on Reddit, for some reason, is addicted to taking photographs of Springbank between their legs in the parking lot of a liquor store they just found it in, because it's incredibly hard to find. Yeah, Springbank's hard to find, and that sucks, and we haven't had Springbank here in a long time. But, hey, we've got Glen Scotia's, and this is an absolute stunning Glen Scotia. And, honestly, rarity aside and internet hype aside, I love a Glen Scotia. I prefer it to Springbank. Just my own personal. I think it's more consistently good quality. And I think one thing that, defining regions makes no sense in the modern era because there's more exceptions to rules in general. There's more exceptions to rules than there are things that stick to them. But Campbellton's kind of an easy region to define because it's only the 3 distilleries. And in my mind, the one thing that ties all 3 of them together is how wildly varied the whiskies that come from them can be. They're the Swiss Army knife of distillery regions. And Glen Scotia in particular, the only thing that I think is consistent about Glen Scotia is how good it is. I've had very, very few Glen Scotias that have made me think twice about, whether I'd order a second dram. But yeah, they're very few and far between, and none of them have been S&WS ones. But within even just S&WS Glen Scotias, we've had things that taste like the peatiest bonfire you ever did set fire to, and we've had things that taste like inflating a bouncy castle. We've had things that taste like a really delicate sort of papaya-based fruit salad. We've had a little bit of everything from these guys, and that's kind of, in essence, what the S&WS itself is all about, isn't it? It's about throwing away consistency and embracing the randomness, right? Embracing the unique identity of each individual cask. And, if there was one distillery that, if the S&WS was going to turn around and say, we're not bottling anyone else anymore, like Gordon and MacPhail just did, we're not going to be an independent bottler anymore, we're going to concentrate on distilleries that we own. If I could choose one distillery in Scotland that the S&WS should own, it would probably be either these guys or Loch Lomond, which weirdly enough are owned by the same company, so maybe they just buy both in. This is entirely in my imagination, right? But yeah, I feel like they fit the ethos of the S&WS so well in terms of just breaking expectations and well, maybe not even having expectations, because the only thing you should expect is good whiskey. Anyway, so this is a beautiful little dram that holds up again a week later. It still definitely has that sort of peach shadow effect. Yeah, the anchovy paste, I'm not quite there. It feels coastal. I'm not going anchovies. I'm not quite sure I agree with that note in the SMWS panel. But that's on that. Tasting notes aren't meant to be 100% agreed with. These are just a roadmap to see what you might find. One person's anchovy paste might be another person's salt and vinegar chips. You know, it's just giving you thoughts and ideas of ways to try and put words to the flavors in your mouth. That's all we're ever trying to do here, is help you help yourself. And there are no wrong answers when tasting whiskey. It's all your own personal experience. Something which will come up again in a later video, actually. So yeah, this is a beautiful way to start off the tasting. There are a couple of bottles left at time of recording to purchase online. Yeah. Hopefully some of the things I've said today were somewhat helpful. And yeah, if you feel like picking up a bottle, you know what to do. I'll see you on the next video. Slash bell.
Folks out here